if you're demisexual, meaning that you like to have an emotional connection with someone you're sleeping with.
I thought it said Denim-Sexual, and it was about jeans.
We're sorry, guys.
I'm Reid from ReidAboutSex.com.
I'm Cathy Bartilli from theintimacydojo.com.
Okay, what's the question?
So if someone's demisexual, meaning that they want to have an emotional connection with a person.
That's what that means? Demisexual? I didn't know that.
Oh.
I really didn't. That's great. That's a cool word.
Yes. So there's some people that can just sleep with anyone, and they don't even have to know their name, and it's fine. Yeah. And there's some people that like to have an emotional connection. Like I have to like somebody. Mm-hmm. I can't just fuck somebody. I have to at least respect them and know their name and feel comfortable with them. Okay. So, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're in the poly community, especially if you're in a slutty poly community,
mm-hmm. And somebody submitted a question, just kind of asking. So thank you again. We love your questions.
Yes, keep them coming. So she's kind of having she's struggling a little bit because she wants to fit into her community, and mm-hmm. she's been trying to sleep with people and enjoy it without having the trappings of love. She likes to have the deeper love mm-hmm. Connection. And she's also having a hard time with her partners being more sexual and feeling mm-hmm. like they're going to leave her because in her mind she feels like they have to be in love to sleep with a person. Mm-hmm. And if you're in love, you're going to leave.
Got it. Okay.
So she's asking, how can she balance this?
All right. So there's a lot. This is a great question because there's a lot of stuff happening all in this one question. My big bits of advice. If you have poly community or non-monogamous community around you, meetups, poly potlucks, and things like that, go hang out with some poly folk mm-hmm. And like interview people on how they do it, because I think it's just really healing to see how other people deal with it and how other people struggle with it. So the first thing is like you're not alone. You're not the only person who's exploring non-monogamy and figuring out like, wow, like I like having sex with people I care a lot about.
Right. And everybody's different on how much they need, how much, like, I don't need to be in love to have sex. Some people want to be in love with it, and there's nothing wrong.
So one of the answers with it's not necessarily, it might not be your self-expression, or even somebody that you're dating or trying to sleep with or sleeping with. If your self-expression is that you need more intimate connection and emotional connection before you have sex, then, like, that's great. Like, that's you. And we want you to be you. I would also say explore more crayons in your crayon box of what sex is mm-hmm. so that you can find, like, making out, whatever other kinds of sex or taking showers or exchanging erotic massages or whatever. Like, where are the things that are fun for you, things to do with people as you get to know them, that fulfill your needs for intimacy and connection and sensuality, because especially in American culture, sensuality means sex, mm-hmm. and there's so many other things that can be there. Yeah. And then, as you learn more about yourself, you'll have more choices and options mm-hmm. to be able to play with people and connect with them. And then as you if you want to use those crayons, use those crayons, and then when and if it's appropriate and you feel comfortable and you're connected with somebody enough for the sex, then have fun. Mm-hmm. Obviously, don't try to do things that don't work for you, mm-hmm. and trying to force yourself to do anything doesn't really work for people. And then date your species, like date other people who are a good fit for where you're at and what works for you. And if somebody's not a good fit, they're just not a good fit. It's nothing personal.
Yeah. I love what you said about interviewing other people. Because I remember when I first started hanging out with the more poly crowd, and I'd go to play parties, and to me it looked like everybody was sleeping with everybody. And that's not my expression.
And in reality, they're not all sleeping with each other.
No.
It just feels and looks like that.
Yeah. And to me, from an outsider point of view, I didn't know they knew each other. So it just kind of seemed like everyone was just fucking mm-hmm. random people. But what happens a lot of times is people will come with a little pod. They'll come in a little group, and they might just sleep with that group, or they might pull in other people. But there's different expressions. Like, you might go around and sleep with anybody you feel attracted to, whereas someone else may need to have a deeper connection and may have known the person for years before they slept with them. Mm-hmm. So just giving yourself permission to want what you want and allow yourself, there's nothing wrong with trying other things, but not forcing yourself. Don't try to make yourself be something different to fit in the community. And even the poly part of it, some people have closed pods or semi-open pods. Like, you get to decide how you want to express yourself. You don't have to be someone else to be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and last, to answer the last piece real quick, if you have a lot of struggle with your partners sleeping with other people, one, is poly, is non-monogamy really the fit for you? But finding, just kind of digging a little deeper and seeing, like, well, what is that that's actually challenging for you? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it, you know, what are those?
Program on the 8-armed octopus of jealousy.
Yeah, there's ways to, like, figure out, like, oh, that's jealousy, and this is how you handle jealousy. And then again, like, even if you're poly, but you know your poly works better for you when you're not dating super sluts, then don't date super sluts. Yeah. And it sounds like so simple, but I think people don't give themselves permission because they're trying to fit in and doing it the right way.
If you find someone you would really like, you're like, oh, I want to be with this person. You can like someone who's a bad fit for you. Mm-hmm.
And I would say don't date them because they're a bad fit. But how do you figure that out?
That's a great question. Thanks so much for asking it, being vulnerable. Please leave questions and comments below. We'd love to know what you think.
Hit subscribe once in a while. Why don't you?
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to my social media, it's right there. And please subscribe to this channel there. If you'd like to see more goofy Reid and Cathy, there's more videos there.
See them. Why are they there?